what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Mandatory Live. We took a week off, but we're back. Thank you so much if you've already been rocking with us. If you haven't, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button because that helps the channel grow. And we're also on the audio side as well. So if you got a couple of minutes, leave a rate and review because that obviously helps the channel grow as well. Because Amanda Serrano held a press conference. She'll be fighting Katie Taylor for the third time, the trilogy fight. And this went down yesterday. This fight is going to take place July 11th, Madison Square Garden in New York. Bryan, we're getting the fight for the third time, so I think we got to talk about it. Do you think it's going to go any differently for Amanda Serrano, who came into the building of this press conference with headgear?
Because of a reference to the headbutts that she was hit with last time. I mean, that's clearly a Jake Paul idea, for being totally honest. Whatever. Let's get into some of the things that happened at the press conference. I will share my screen once I have my screen ready. There were a couple of things that are worth just sort of looking at here. We will start actually with the headgear because you mentioned it, and then we'll get into this back and forth that the two of them had that I found very interesting. By the way, we should note this card, like the card itself, was announced. I don't know if it's announced in full. Here we go. We have the screen here.
Very good card, by the way, guys. Very good all women's card is looking on.
Really interesting card. Really interesting card. All women's card, it appears, which I know not all women like because they feel like, hey, we should be able to compete alongside the men, not just by ourselves. You know.
But I think at the same time, it's celebrating women fighting. And I think women, an all women card can hold it down. Like, we're going to get some entertaining fights. And let's be serious. The women's fights have been a lot more entertaining, I feel like, as of late, especially like the big fights. Like, they're holding it down, and there's some very, very good names on it. Bryan, let's see a little bit from this press conference.
So we have this face-off with the
two of the greatest fighters in the history of the sweet science.
But it's just like bullshit music or whatever. We honestly don't need the sound because just Ariel Helwani talking, and no disrespect, we don't really need that. But I like Ariel.
Yeah,
he was the host of this. Katie Taylor, I don't know if she's trying to laugh or whatever the case may be.
They're just trying to sell this fight. They have so much respect for each other, these two women. But
I also think if you're gonna do this, like, you should do the Invicta FC, and have, like, if you're gonna do an all women's card, why don't you troll the dudes and you could have like men doing the fucking stupid poses that these women are doing instead.
They should totally do that and have like just like men with their shirts off, but all the guys would be like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah, I know, because
could you imagine? They should have guys come out like round one.
They should. That's literally what I'm saying. But dudes are mad sensitive, and they'll be like, "Oh, look at what they're doing to us." And it's
they're
like,
using us as objects. But
yeah, like y'all have been doing this to women for how long? For like the entire.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea, Bryan.
Listen. Entire.
When we start mandatory promotions, we're doing that.
Yeah, honestly, I had to plug in my laptop real quick. Okay, now the actual exchange, which Netflix says was heated. I thought. We'll watch it. We'll watch it.
At the end of the day, Amanda needs this fight a lot
more. Is the sound on?
More than I do. Okay. I have a long history of big fights against big names, and a line of people queuing up to fight me for the payday. So in that context, I
do the three. You shook on it, not knowing if I was gonna win or lose, Katie. I respect you, and I will continue to respect you in and out the ring, Katie. But we did shake on it, not knowing. And if you say that it's you call the shots, you could have called the shots that day. You shouldn't have shook my hand if you wasn't gonna.
You need this fight a lot more than I do, Amanda.
You know that if we have an extra minute, it won't go your way.
I think the point of a 3-minute round was to prove to people that you get more knockouts. How many knockouts did you get in your 12 3-minute rounds? 0. At the end of the day, Amanda.
I mean, yeah.
Katie talking that shit though. You know what I mean? This is great. I love it. Katie's
I think they both caught each other off guard, like, because they don't want to talk shit like that, but they also, you know, like they fought twice. They're probably fucking tired of each other.
Yeah, I like it though.
What do you think of that? The whole, because Amanda was pushing for 12 3-minute rounds, and Katie's basically like, it's not gonna make, it wouldn't have made a difference, and Amanda's
This
saying
makes
it would.
I think it makes a whole lot of difference. I think then we're left, and I'm gonna say this because I want women to have those 3-minute rounds. We're not gonna be left after fights not knowing who won. There's too many of those.
Mm.
I mean, sure, sometimes we know who the winner is because they have a great performance, but other times we're like, who won that fight? And there's been a lot of those where they've been too close. If you add another minute to those rounds, we're going to see some separation. And I think we're going to see more stoppages. What is Amanda Serrano really good at? Speed and volume. Can you take that? Can you take that for a full 3 minutes for each round? And I think Amanda would have more stoppages on her record, TKOs and KOs, if there was 3-minute rounds. Drop your comments below and let us know if you want to see 3-minute rounds in women's boxing. And Amanda's kind of right. Like, yo, if we shook on it before and then you kind of took a step back, like, no, we're not doing the 3-minute rounds. Why? Are you scared, Katie? Like, that's, you know what I mean? Obviously she's not. But you never know. So I would have liked to have seen the 3-minute rounds for this trilogy fight. Bryan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, and I like that Tammara Thibeault's doing it. Like, if for people who don't know, she's fighting 3-minute rounds. She's done it twice already. It looks like she's gonna do it again, and that is super. Like, you need that in this sport. You need people who are going to push it forward in that way. And I think that with Tammara Thibeault doing it, like, that's encouraging. I think Amanda Serrano, after this trilogy fight, I don't know how many more fights she's going to have, but I would assume she's going to try to do it again, another 3-minute round fight, if you will. There's also, like, she's kind of low key holding a couple of her featherweight titles hostage. So there has, like, is she going to defend it at some point or whatever the case may be? I do wonder what's going to happen there. There's already been at least one vacancy. But regardless, I do want to see just equality. So the 12 3-minute rounds for title fights would be great. You'll get more knockouts. You'll get just more decisive victories, and you'll get more time. Because you all watch boxing. It's like 2-minute rounds. Some people are just getting going in those first 2 minutes. And how many times do I have to see, like, for example, Sinisa Estrada and Yokasta Valle, where it's very close, that it's like, shit, the round's already over, you know, and it makes it harder to score. Michaela Mayer versus Sandy Ryan, both times, particularly the first one, which is very, very close. Michaela Mayer versus Natasha Jonas, for example, right?
Very close.
And then there are some instances where, like, yeah, the 3-minute rounds also make it clear, like, oh, there's a real skill gap here, and we should probably stop this sooner instead of having it linger on, you know? Like, I think there are some fighters who would really excel in 3-minute rounds, like a Gabriela Fundora, for example, who has a fight coming up later this month. And I think these two women, if they did it, it'd be great. There are some health things to worry about as well, but, like, that's the case for men too, and we just let them beat the shit out of each other. It's boxing at the end of the day. Like, the sport is brutal. The sport is I think maybe the most difficult of all the sports. Not just in the ring, but also the lifestyle and all the things that come out of it. And I think that, you know, if we're gonna see Tammara Thibeault do it, maybe we'll see others do it as well.
And that's what we want to see. I think you want to have the women fighting 3-minute rounds because then we're not left wondering who won the fight, and also equality. And there's a lot of good fights to be made. And if they're at 3-minute rounds, I think it makes it all more interesting. Let's go to our friend Nerd here. I think he kind of had a funny comment. Katie Taylor has that Monsters Inc. grandma voice. She did sound a little bit shaky, which I thought was kind of weird. I don't think Katie knew how to talk shit, and she didn't know what to say. Because I've never really heard Katie, like, talk that talk.
No, I think she's just, like, surprised that she had to. She probably thought it was going to be a different type of press conference, which it was for the most part.
Yeah.
That was, like, the only, like, heated thing, quote unquote. Boxing press conferences are so ass usually now. Like, like, the one that I went to with these fucking six dudes that are going to fight in Times Square. That's just like still, I still don't know how they're going to pull that off, but they're going to do it.
Yeah.
You knew that was going to be interesting, even though Ryan Garcia swears he's turning over a new leaf. Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Arnold Barbosa, who was pissed off the entire time, which is great. Like those type of things. Like I didn't expect this conference to provide that level of fireworks. I think the headgear idea that Jake Paul likely passed on was, probably trying to drum up certain things or whatever. But hey, the card itself is good. We should talk about that and then get out of here. Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano, but then you have Ellie Scotney, Yamaleth Mercado.
Great
They're
fight.
fighting for the super bantamweight. I think all the titles.
Yeah.
Alycia Baumgardner's fighting Jennifer Miranda. Jennifer Miranda's from Spain.
Very good fight. Sneakily good fight, guys.
Yeah,
It's a
Miranda
good
doesn't
co-main.
Miranda doesn't have a ton of pop, but she has skill. It's a nice test for Alycia Baumgardner off the not the layoff, because she did technically fight most recently, but that was just a fight that went to no contest, so she hasn't gotten rounds in a very long time. Dina Thorslund fighting Sharetta Metcalf. That's another, just like a bunch of bantamweight titles are on the line, and then Tammara Thibeault is fighting a highly ranked contender at middleweight in Mary Casamassa. And Tammara Thibeault, I think, is going to have her coming out party. Assuming it's even on the Netflix main card. Hopefully it is. I think it will be. It looks like that's it. I don't know if anything else is going to be announced. It's also very early. We're 3 months out. I don't know if they're going to throw in some other, like, younger like a Crystal Rosado or an Ellie Soto on the undercard, or so to speak. But if this is the main card, like, I'm good with it. I think this is an excellent main card.
Yeah, and it's historic too because it's going to be on Netflix and it's an all women's card. So Jake Paul really,
at the Garden also.
Yes, Jake Paul, getting into his bag of women's boxing, and we're going to see this more from MVP, which is his promotional company. But nonetheless, let us know what fights that you're excited about, and let us know what you think about the back and forth between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Were you entertained? And if you like the 3-minute rounds, Brian, we did an hour. We were only supposed to do like a half hour, but we like rocking with you guys. Leave your comments, because even after the show, we read the comments. We're trying to get better at responding to those comments. Just know we see them all, guys. We see all of the comments, and we do appreciate you. If you like the content, hit the like and subscribe button. That will help the channel grow. Brian, final words before we get out of here.
That card also, as I mentioned, at the Garden, not at the fucking theater. Important note there. Not at the freaking theater. There has been a pro boxing event at the Garden since December 10th, 2022. Teofimo Lopez, Sandor Martin. And since then, Top Rank has decided to just put everyone in MSG Theater. And then 3 years ago, obviously, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano fought at the Garden, April of 2022. Same card that had Liam Smith knocking out Jesse Vargas, which is a fight that I forgot happened till this very moment. But Liam Smith, we were talking about him being impressive. He had a nice victory in that one against Jesse Vargas. We saw Amma Williams knock out Cordell Booker in the first round of their fight when that happened on that card. There was a couple of interesting fights there, but the main one being the match we're going to see the second rematch of. This third time these two are fighting. I think it's a fight of the year contender. It's been a fight of the year contender already twice. I thought it was the actual fight of the year probably in 2022. Last year, it was really good. And a lot of people would argue that Amanda Serrano has 2 wins. So
I would probably be in that
she definitely
group.
has one. At least one.
100% at least one. Let us know if you think Amanda Serrano has any unofficial wins against Katie Taylor. Let's just put it as that. We will be back though, Brian. Wait, you had something to say.
I have a question.
Okay.
If Amanda Serrano wins this fight, what do? Do you just like
have a fourth fight?
Yeah, because it's 2-1, but
is it?
Right.
Right. I think here's the thing. I think if the trilogy fight is anything like the second fight, which was on Netflix, and people you got to understand, we all saw the first fight, right? Yeah. And some people had Katie winning. Brian and I both had Amanda winning 6-4.
That was more debatable to your point.
Yes. And I remember there were so many Katie had the Irish fans in the building. and it was in New York, and I was like, whoa, like I thought this was Amanda's backyard, but there's a lot of Irish people in New York, though I didn't even know that. Anyways, that's not the point. The second fight, people that weren't even like massive boxing fans were watching this. It was on Netflix. It was the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul one. That fight and that Netflix, I guess you could say, that Netflix fight transcended just boxing, Brian. Like there were a ton of people that watched it, and everyone was like, "Whoa, that women's fight was really good." And you would see that on X. They were like, "Whoa, the women's fight is great!" Like they didn't know their names, like you know. And then when I remember, I don't remember where I was, but I was talking to somebody, and this was like in a work environment, and they found out that I did a boxing show, and they're like, "Did you see that women's fight?" And I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean? Like, obviously, I saw that women's fight. It's Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano too." But what I'm saying is that fight on Netflix on that Jake Paul Mike Tyson card brought so many eyes to Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor that people were like talking about that fight after that card.
Yeah.
That was the fight. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, like this is what women's boxing is like." Like people that had never seen it were like, you know, flabbergasted.
What? Women can fight? Oh my God. Like
look at all the hits that they're taking. Like how entertaining. Like people were like, it's like they for the first time ever, like, I don't know, saw Michael Jordan dunk. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
And like Amanda Serrano's been doing this since the late 2000s. Katie Taylor, as an amateur, was really good, and then turned
legends.
They've been out here. They've been doing this.
So here's the thing. This is what I think, to like not have a long answer like I've had. But if this Netflix boxing show does really well, and I expect Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano to put on a very good fight, another one. Yeah, they'll probably make a fourth one because it would make all the sense. And at this point, like something's got to be rigged to help Amanda win. Because she won I thought she won the other 2 times. So
I thought about this. I thought about this. I'm like, all right, is it time to bet Amanda by decision?
100%. You have to.
Last time I took Katie by decision because I told you, I was like, man, she's got that. There's just some fighters that close fights, the judges just love them. Katie Taylor,
they love Katie.
Canelo Alvarez. You know, there's just some certain people. I'm not even saying certain people like there's an inside joke. I'm just literally saying certain people, because what do Katie Taylor and Canelo Alvarez have in common? Like nothing. You know, other than the fact that they both box, like nothing. You know, so I don't know what that is. But I kind of think if you're pulling the strings here, and you're Jake Paul, like.
And here's another thing: how much money could Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano make for a fourth fight? Because for some people,
keep fighting each other.
But Brian, if it makes the money, if it's entertaining, like you don't like fix something that's not broke.
Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez fought how many times?
4 times. So this is something that could happen 4 times. And all I'm saying is
and
that
if Amanda Serrano wins that one, you got to do 5.
Like, here's the thing, though. Some people have only seen them fight once.
Yes.
A big fan base that will be watching this fight on Netflix. I guarantee you the numbers are going to be popping. I guarantee you it's going to be a great moneymaker. It's going to be amazing. And then people are also going to be like, who's this Alycia Baumgardner? She's like, this is, I can't wait to see what X is like after this, okay? But it also puts a good light on women's boxing on Netflix, but some people have only seen them fight one time and they didn't even know that they fought another time prior. So this could be, for some people, the second time they fought. So yeah, if this is a banger, like I expect it to be, give us a 4th one if it makes sense. Because at this point, they could also just both dip out and sail off into the sunset. And you know, Amanda's going to be promoting and doing her thing. So I think we're still going to see them in boxing, but they could still make money off of this, dude. Why not? You know what I mean? Now's the time for them to make bread. I would do the fight 4 times.
All right. If Katie Taylor wins this, then they're not doing it again. I think even if it's a robbery, it's like we're done. We're done here.
Well, I thought it would be done after the last one because I was like, what?
My sneaky prediction is that Tammara Thibeault will steal the show with a one-sided dominating performance. And just hopefully it's part of the main show. She doesn't have like a chump challenger though. I'll say that much. So there's that. That's all I got. We are planning a post-fight live show this weekend. Jerome Boots Ennis, Amanda Stanionis, and whatever else happens on that card. That will be our first post-fight show in a while. Who is on this? Ray Ford. There you go. There's Ray Ford and Thomas Matisse and Omari Jones, who I really, really am high on, is going to be on this card as well. I did see he's like a minus 8,000 favorite, so I won't be betting on Omari Jones, but I think he's going to be really good, so I'll be watching.
All right, guys. Remember to hang out with us on the weekend for the post-fight show. If you're watching this after the fact, thank you. Hit that like and subscribe button. We're out. We'll see y'all on Saturday. And thanks so much again for joining us this morning. More live shows to come next week. Peace out, y'all.